So it started off when I was really young. I was very interested in science in general, and like I used to have a microscope set and all that kind of stuff. And I just had a passion for space. I remember distinctly taking a book from the library of my school that had it was one of those picture encyclopedias, and it had a picture of an astronaut in it. I think it was Buzz Aldrin. When I was young, I even told my mom I wanted to be an astronaut, and she said that we don't have a space program in Kuwait. And I told her, well, I can make one. And she said, Bas Habibi, nobody cares. So for me, I was like, okay, but I'll make them care. In middle school and high school, I started studying a lot about art, and specifically Da Vinci and what they call Renaissance men. And this is like one individual who is an architect, engineer, artist, all of the above, all put together. And it hit me that why do you have to be one thing? Why can't you be more than one thing? So I started thinking about that, and personally I always explore my interests and my hobbies and that kind of stuff. And then one day I realized that the type of people who become astronauts are like modern day Renaissance men and women. And they are the ones who are generalists. They have skills in all kinds of different fields. They're pilots, they're engineers, they're scientists. They end up doing science and space regardless of what their background was. Lots of them are doctors, some are in the military. So they all have backgrounds from all around multiple industries and disciplines. And I realized that that's something that I want to become. And whether or not I actually become an astronaut is irrelevant, because going down that path makes me a better person. Ever since I started making it clear with my actions, not just my words, that this is something that I wanted, have been nothing but supportive, every single member of my family. And it's really hard when you're telling your family that you want to do everything you can to leave the planet, pretty much. Especially if that means you could potentially die. And there's so many dangers that come with being an astronaut. But that's something that I think we all agree on, that it's worth pursuing regardless of what happens. And it's more about what kind of person that makes you on your journey and how that affects not just you but your community. I have this belief that if you want to change the world, then you don't just up and change the world. You have to start with yourself, and then you change your circle, your community, your local region, your country, and then the world, like by effect. I graduated from university and I'm working at Disney in Orlando, Florida. And for a long time, it was my secret that I wanted to be an astronaut. And it was a secret because I just felt like when you tell people, it became like it was like something that people laughed at, like, oh, okay. Like I thought being an Imagineer was rare, and I told my Imagineering friend that I wanted to be an astronaut, and he said, like, that's like a unicorn, like you'll never get that. And I think being at Disney motivated me to pursue this further, because at one point in time, working for Disney and as an Imagineer, not just for Disney in general, it was a dream and something that seemed impossible. It required a lot of work from my part. It needed a lot of teamwork, a lot of luck, just a combination of elements to get there. And there I was. So while I was there in Orlando, I took a trip to Kennedy Space Center, and I think that's what sealed the deal for me. Going and visiting Kennedy Space Center and seeing everything in person, I just started saying it out loud. I started telling people that I want to be an astronaut. And for me, telling people was kind of like, it turned into a commitment. As I started doing that, things started to manifest, and I had the opportunity to be on a TV show, Astronauts Rawad al-Fala, on Dubai TV. And that's where I got to meet Chris Hadfield, who is literally my hero in terms of who I'm trying to be like. He's somebody whose book inspired me when I was very young, and he inspired me to be an astronaut myself. So I got to meet him, learn from him, and have him judge me on a TV show and my performance. And that entire process has been a dream come true. So when I was doing my master's thesis in architecture, I decided to take on a project of turning Shuaib oil refinery, the first oil refinery in Kuwait, which is now discontinued, into turning it from an oil refinery into a space center in Kuwait. In this project, I got to explore video, like film. I got to create a short film to represent the concept and the idea, but also practice architecture and space. What we need to have an astronaut, a Kuwaiti astronaut in space, is we need someone who is willing and has the power to make this happen in terms of whether it's financial or if it's something logistical. We need a body that supports, the government body that supports Kuwaitis who are interested in space, potentially even an aerospace department or an aerospace engineering scholarship opportunity. And you have the people who are willing to take it all the way. You just need the permission and the gate to be opened. So for me, when COVID hit, I actually had a good talk with my dad. We sat down, he asked us, like all the kids in the family, what do we think is gonna happen with COVID? Is life ever gonna go back to normal? Is this the new normal? How does it work for you? My take was that life is never going to go 100% back to normal. I think people are going to get adapted and used to things, but they will not be the way they were before. So waiting for things to be over was not in my mentality. Like I needed to take advantage of whatever time I had. And then I also couldn't live with the fact that there's a lot of things in my mind that I tell myself, if I just had some time, I would work on it. So this was the important time to not be a hypocrite or not like I couldn't live with myself if I didn't do the things I always wanted to do. So immediately I made sure I kept exercising, and then I started working on the side business with me and my friend Ahmed for filmmaking. And we started up the Mars Society of Kuwait. Me and the founders got together and we formed the non-NGO, and we started reaching out to the Italian Mars Society, and we're trying to create more of a space industry here in Kuwait. Lots of things, like in general, I finished 3, in terms of my personal growth and in terms of my pursuit of being an astronaut. I did 3 online courses, 2 from MIT, Sustainable Building Design and Engineering Management 2, and the last one was Space Missions and Design Operations. Also, I've been working on a proposal to become, at least have a space program in Kuwait, let alone an astronaut corps. And I'm trying to incorporate my recommendation from Chris Hadfield into all of that. So right now I'm working on that proposal to try and make astronauts a thing in Kuwait and to actually have a space industry in Kuwait. By having the NGO and Mars Society and pushing all of these things forward, our hope is to give opportunity. At least if I don't become an astronaut, I'm okay with that, so long as we can lay the groundwork for future generations and future Kuwaitis to participate in the space industry. For me, I believe no dream is too impossible to achieve, because if I personally already achieved a dream that was impossible. Working for Disney was a dream that I thought was impossible. And with hard work and a bit of luck, I got there. There's no sense in holding back. You just need to go out and do what you believe. So long as you're learning, nothing is impossible.
Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running.